More about linear equations. What? There's more? There sure is. First, point-slope form. You should write this down and label it point-slope form if you are unaware. One thing a lot of people mix up in here is that this y and this x stay as x and y all the time. They do not get plugged in for any numbers in this form. And when should we use this form? If a problem ever gives you a point and a slope, you should use point-slope form. So it's telling you this point, and it's telling you this slope. So I'm going to use my point-slope form. So it's going to be y minus my y value, which is 2, equals my slope, so 3/5, and in parentheses, x minus your x value, which is 5. Now, a few key things here is make sure you always put parentheses around this right here, and you have to make sure to plug in the correct numbers in the correct spot. Now you want to try to rewrite it in the format y equals mx plus b, because that is the equation of the line when you have your y or your outputs by itself. So first I'm going to distribute my 3/5, and I have y minus 2 would be equal to 3/5 x. This becomes a plus 3, and now I'm going to have to add 2 to both sides of my equation. So my equation of my line would be y equals 3/5 x plus 5. So if I also ask you what's the y-intercept, my y-intercept would be 5. And that is my equation of the line. Right now I want you to pause the video. Yes, pause that video and try this one by yourself. You should have gotten y equals negative 3x plus 20. Again, the y-intercept then would be a positive 20. So in this problem, a line passes through these 2 points. What's the equation of the line in point-slope form? So first, get it into point-slope form. The first thing you want to do is find the slope. So it's always the change of y, so 2 minus 8 over 3 minus 5. This would give you a negative 6 over a negative 2, which is equal to a positive 3. So that's going to be my slope. And then you just plug it into your point-slope form. It does not matter which one you use. Either of these two would be acceptable answers because it's telling you to leave it in point-slope form. So again, as long as you have the correct slope, it doesn't matter which point you use. Then we have our standard form. Standard form is when we have ax plus by equals a number, where both a and b are not zeros. We use standard form a lot when we're looking for the x and y intercepts. What is the equation of the line in standard form? Your first step should be to move x and y over to one side of the equation. If this will be difficult for you, you should be writing out these steps as a reference. So I'm going to first subtract 3/4 x from both sides. So I have a negative 3/4 x plus y equals negative 5. Do not lose your subtraction. And then your second step is to multiply the whole equation by the denominator. So I'm just going to rewrite out the equation from above. And my denominator here is a 4. So I'm going to multiply this whole thing by 4. So when I multiply the first term by 4, that cancels out the bottom. So I'm just going to have a negative 3x here. Because 4 times negative 3/4 will cancel out the bottom. Plus, and then I'm going to have a 4 times y, which would give me 4y, and I have a 4 times my negative 5, so it equals negative 20. And this would be my final answer. I want you to pause the video and attempt this by yourself. I'm guessing some of you were like, what? There's no denominator. Well, when I'm giving you decimal points, you have to get rid of the decimal points. So the farthest that the decimals went out was the 10th spot right here. That's the farthest. 1 decimal is a 10th spot. So that's why I multiplied the whole equation by 10. So when I multiply the first by 10, I got rid of the decimal. The second one would be 10 times y. And the third got rid of the decimal. So this would be my final answer in standard form. You should have these three in your notes someplace. If not, rewrite them again, because we will be using these equations throughout the chapter. Here it says, what are the intercepts? Intercepts mean where it crosses the x and where it crosses the y. Now, what intercepts are getting at is if you plugged 0 in for x, what would you get? And if you plugged 0 in for y, what would you get? When I find the intercepts, I always write down these two ordered pairs right away. So then it will help me write the ordered pair correctly. And this first one is saying plug 0 in for x. So it would be 3 times 0 plus 5y is equal to 15. My x's cancel out, so I have 5y is equal to 15, and divide by 5. Y is equal to 3 right here, so I'm going to write. Pause the video and attempt the next intercept by yourself. So your two intercepts that you have here, you have 0, 3. So if I went 0 and then up 3, it would be at this point right here. And 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can connect those points. And that would be your intercepts right here and here and your graph. And last but not least, parallel lines perpendicular. Make sure to write this down. Parallel lines means that they have the same slope, so slopes are equal. Perpendicular lines means that they have the opposite reciprocal. So, example, if my slope is going to be equal to 2, I would say parallel lines would also have a slope equal to 2. Perpendicular lines, that's a symbol for perpendicular, would have a slope that's opposite. So the opposite of 2 would be a negative 2, and reciprocal. If 2 is written as a fraction, it would be like 2 over 1. So reciprocal would be 1/2. Here I want to find a line through this, or that's parallel to this line, through this point. So the first thing you want to do is find out what is the slope. And in my equation, my slope here is 6. So m is going to be equal to 6. That is the only thing you use that equation for. The only thing. And then the next step is you want to plug the point and the slope into the point slope form. So y minus negative 3 equals 6, x minus 1. That becomes a plus plus. And then you want to solve the equation. So first I'm going to distribute my 6 in, so I have y plus 3 is equal to 6x minus 6. And then I want to subtract 3 from both sides. Y equals 6x minus 9. And this would be my final answer. I want you to pause the video and attempt this one by yourself. Your first step is find the slope. So it's perpendicular, so opposite of negative would be a positive, and perpendicular to that would be a positive 1/4. Then you plug it into your equation and you simplify. And you will get y equals 1/4 x plus 3. And there you have it. That's the other stuff we have with linear equations. Have a great, grand, wonderful day.